This past week, we read a whole lot of Psalms, and I had to make notes because I couldn't just put everything in my head. So I'm going to be reading my notes to you, and I hope you'll be blessed, and I hope it will resonate with you as well, and you'll be able to align it with your own notes as well. So in Psalm 13, David was actually complaining like most of us do, including me. We complain about how God has not answered our prayers, how God is not listening to us. But the one thing is that at the end of the day, he was able to say in verse 5 that despite all he's going through, he knows that God will always come through for him. And that's one thing I've tested God, that even when I think he's not there, he shows up. Sometimes it may be at the last minute, but the one thing about God is that he's never late. So even when we think it's the last minute, he's actually on time. And then in Psalm 15, we'll see the characteristics of someone that is walking with God, that is actually having a relationship with God, which is what we all should strive to be. In Psalm 20, we see that's one psalm that is a great prayer to pray for yourself. I want you to go back and read Psalm 20 again, and you'll see that it's a great prayer to pray for oneself. And Psalm 21, it talks about what God does in answer to prayers. So read Psalm 20 and 21 together, and then you will understand what I'm talking about. And then in Psalm 27, that's just confessing that we trust God and we're dependent on him. We can't do anything about by ourselves. And Psalm 29 is just talking about the almightiness of God. That's one psalm that if you want to praise God and you don't know what to say, read Psalm 29 and you will understand that God is indeed almighty. Psalm 31 talks about when you're at a crossroad and you don't know what to do, when you're overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. Read Psalm 31 and pray with it, and the Lord will open up your eyes and you'll be able to see and know which direction to turn to. Psalm 35, this Psalm 35 actually, is a plea to God to defend you against your enemies. And I remember growing up, this Psalm 35 was one psalm that, as a child, when somebody does anything wrong to me, I will read this psalm and I'm praying about it and saying, God, do this to this person, do this to this person, because that's really what that psalm is all about. It's saying that God should fight for you. So I don't know what struggles you're going through. I don't know what circumstance. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It might be a circumstance that you want to pray about. Psalm 35 is the psalm for you. And I hope you're blessed with this readings as I have been blessed. And what we'll be reading this week is at the end of the video. Have a blessed week.